Hello, how is everyone doing today? It's so weird because I sometimes have YouTube like pop up and I get to see chat and I get to see all these things, and it doesn't always seem to work. So anyway, we'll just see what happens. So I should be live. Say hi if you're around. I'll get it when I get it. Who knows how that happens, right? But anyway, I'm glad you're here if you are. And I will, as usual... Oh, hi, I'm Lee. I'm a hypnotist. I live in Florida. We are currently about to experience another hurricane. I have been so lucky in the time that I've been here, which is to say that I have gone through hurricanes, but mostly I have gotten the edges of the hurricane. But I live in the Tampa Bay area, and this hurricane, let's see if I can do this right. Here's the west coast of Florida, and the hurricane, and like here's Tampa, and the hurricane is going to be like slamming right into it as it crosses the state. So, I don't know what this means. We'll have to see how this all goes. Everything is still hunkered down from Helene, just a week and a half or so ago. So all furniture's in, sandbags are out, boards are over the windows. It's gonna be great. Yeah, so I have no idea what to expect, but the schools are all closed for like the first half of the week at least, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I guess after some of the other hurricanes that have happened around here, because the schools are set up as evacuation places or safe places for people to evacuate to, that sometimes it takes them at least a few days, if not more, to come back and, get everything reset up for students as opposed to, say, families living there. So that's exciting, and we'll just see how that goes. Hello, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see you all. So this is October, and if you are interested in either sadistic stuff or chastity, in my Patreon and Discord, we're doubling down on those this month. So that's a fun thing to talk about. Somebody said to me, "Oh, I don't have a belt." And I said, that's okay, because it's pretty much hypnotic chastity. You don't have to worry about that. And then, of course, if you choose the evil month, well, you just have to be up for whatever comes your way. I do like a little bit of sadism in my play sometimes, but mostly, you might be surprised to hear that, because I know, most of the hypnosis I've been doing lately is like all stuff that's really good for you, right? Because I like that too. I like a lot of things, but sometimes I like to be playfully terrible. And I hope you guys like that too. Don't mind me if I want to see your tears, but show them to me. So, you can join the Patreon as a free member, and you still get some of those things if you're interested in that. You can hang out in the Discord. If you're going to participate in October, that's where you can hang out in the Discord. You can hang out in the Discord anyway, but to be fair, I haven't been that active in the Discord except for certain specific things. So if you're going to be there, if you're going to hang out in the October space, really you should participate in that. What else is going on? Oh, so I did say that I was going to be painting my nails and doing hypnosis. That has not worked out the way I expected. First of all, because I did one in here, and it's hard to get the lighting quite right and the angles quite right. I don't have that down yet. I'm working on it. I did another one in a different space where I tried to do the hypnosis and the nails at the same time, and I got a little distracted, to be honest. And then I did another one where I just did the nails, and I was going to like overlay that with my voice and a hypnotic thing. I am still figuring all that out. Who knew it was much more complicated than I had anticipated? I was like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll look just like it does when I watch other people do their nails. Oh, that's so funny. Sometimes I'm just silly and naive, and I haven't really thought about things like lighting and camera angles as much as I wish I had when I started. However, I have been making content, and at some point in time, I'm sure I will get it up. I say that, but you may know that I used to make tickling videos as a tickler, and I will tell you that growing out my nails, you can see a couple of them are sort of particularly long. Growing out my nails has been so good for actually tickling people, like so good. Anyway, so I used to make tickling videos, and here's a familiar thing that you'll hear, but I hated doing the editing. It would just take forever. I had Adobe Premiere Pro. I got proficient at it, whatever that means, proficient enough to put out videos, and I hated doing it. I don't know if it was just my computer's old and it took forever. It was also a long time ago. And it would literally take hours and hours and hours for it to render so I could do something else, and I had enough. So I would make a lot of content, and then I never did anything with it. So I definitely have like all this tickling content. I couldn't even tell you where it is right now because I have a lot of hard drives that I've saved over the years that have all sorts of stuff on them. Someday I will probably find them. So we'll just see. But I am planning. That is just to say that I'm no longer doing that anymore, those types of videos, but I will get to the hypno and nails thing. I promise you, because it's so much fun and I really like doing that. And we'll just see how you find yourself responding. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble about that. If you would like to hear me talk about something specific today during the hypnosis portion of this live stream, let me know, because I like to do things that people are interested in making happen, and I like a challenge, dare I say. So I like doing things that I have not really done before. I like doing things that everyone is like, oh my God, please. So like sometimes, especially when we were doing just the audio chats, I'd be doing a lot of brainwashing content because it's a perennial favorite. So if you have something that you would specifically like to experience today, put it in the chat so I actually have that up now. It came up. So I can see that, and I will incorporate as much of that as I can to whatever it is that we find ourselves doing today. So there's that. If you have any ideas for other things, you can feel free to message me privately. I'm pretty open, although I don't always have a lot of time to get things done. So there's that. But on Sundays, I am all yours. So I realize that I don't usually wear shirts that say things on them, which is not completely true. I have a whole bunch of Deep Mind Darkwood shirts, like I have a dark navy one with black print, and you almost can't read it, but I live in Florida, and I don't always want people giving me crap for a shirt that says fuck on it. So it says Deep Mind Darkwood, can't mind fuck. Anyway, so I have a dark blue one. I have a red one, which I never wear. It's too bright, too bold. Despite the color of my lipstick, red is not a color I wear very often. I have a green one that says can't mind fucking like silver. I like that one a lot. I think I have one or two others, maybe. Anyway, I have backed out of that event, but my brain is like busy trying to like figure out what else I'm gonna do in, I don't know, the next several years. I've made a promise that I'm gonna take 3 years off. So from this October, I'm gonna give myself 3 years, give or take. And then I'm probably going to do some other kind of event, and I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Oh, yeah. So anyway, so this shirt is a friend's event. If you've ever been to any of the Dark Odyssey events, this shirt's pretty old because I'm pretty sure I was staff, which is why I have this shirt, because normally I don't care. I just go to the events to have a good time. And I actually think I got this at summer camp, which is even better. So, but it's a fun event. This is a hotel event, Winterfire, and summer camp is in the summer. There's actually, I think, a Labor Day one and like a one in June. And I've had some of the best times of my life at those events. So if you're in like the SNME group, outdoorsy kinds of things, summer camp might be for you. If you like hotel events, Winterfire might be for you. They both get, I want to say, 450-ish people, so you can meet a lot of new and interesting people, and I think they're kind of fun. Plus, as I said, the organizer is a friend of mine, but they require a lot of help. So if you want to volunteer, you could teach a class, all the usual kinds of stuff. Anyway, so all right, so I think today, what are we gonna do? We're gonna I have some big news coming up, but I can't tell anybody just yet, but I'm really dying to. But I have gotten to the point where I don't want to actually share too much. First of all, because I have a stalker, which is the funnest thing ever. But you don't want to give them too much information. But the other thing is that I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched, but I am so excited to be able to share things that are coming up with you guys. But I guess that's going to have to wait. So, all right. What kind of hypnosis are we going to do today? So normally, I wouldn't want to start until closer to 3:30. But it's super quiet, so maybe I'll start and we'll do something for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and then we'll do some more. So, I thought that we would do something right now, a short kind of thing, to help people who are having to do things that they don't really like to do. They may be happy to do them, like, logically, or, in that way of this thing has to get done, so I should do it, but they may not like thoroughly enjoy it. They may not really get anything out of it. So how do you find yourself getting something out of doing the thing that you ought to be doing? How do you do that, right? So join me, and maybe together we can find that we get more joy out of doing all the things in our lives that we don't want to do, that we have to do, and then when we do them, we discover it's not so bad after all, and then maybe the next time our brains are just a titch happier to make those things happen, right? Okay, so take a nice deep breath in, close your eyes, let that breath out, let your body settle. Sometimes I think that yoga and hypnosis are way more intricately related, and if I just wanted to help people relax, we could really get into some crazy stuff. But today, as you find your body settling into a comfortable position, whatever that is, and if you like to keep your eyes open and to stare fixedly at something, you are certainly welcome to do that. So as you find yourself in this comfortable position, hearing the sound of my voice, eyes open or closed, letting your breathing simply allow you to drop deeper down. Breathing in brings you up just a little bit closer to consciousness. Breathing out drops you down deeper into trance throughout the whole cycle until I start to bring you up. Why do I do that? It's fractionation. What's fractionation? So Milton Erickson noticed that when he hypnotized people, so hypnosis used to be this thing that would happen to you maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks or once a week if you were lucky, say, and you were a patient in the mental institutions or the hospitals that he used to work at. But he noticed that if you hypnotize somebody more quickly, more closely together, so you hypnotize someone and then brought them out of trance and then put them back in, that they would have a stronger response. They would go more deeply into that state of hypnosis. Now, the man's a wizard. They literally did call him that, Wizard of the West. But they called him that because he was able to get people very quickly into all sorts of states simply by talking and asking them questions. I'm mostly going to talk, and I'm not necessarily going to ask you questions, but I might, so hold on. So as your unconscious mind thinks about how easy it is to go into trance, you'll notice that when you come out of trance again and then you drop down, you go more deeply. That's the fractionation part. So you go into trance, you come out, you go back in. That's fractionation. So when you breathe and you come up and you go closer to consciousness, and you breathe out and you drop down more deeply into trance, fractionation as well. You can also do this, for example, if your eyes are open. If you close your eyes, say, to blink, and you open your eyes again, you might notice that that moment of blinking and then opening your eyes allows you to sink more deeply into trance. There are so many wonderful ways to get into trance, and you don't even actually need it in order to accept suggestion. But for our purposes today, we're going to accept that most people feel really good when they go deeply into trance, whatever that means for you. And as you find yourself in that state of dropping deeply into trance, it can feel so much better than you expected. So let your unconscious mind hold on to how good it feels to come into trance, to breathe in, to come up just a little bit closer to consciousness, to breathe out, and just let your body, let every single part of you sink down more deeply into trance. Whether you open your eyes and close them again, whether you close your eyes and then open them again, it doesn't matter. Your unconscious mind can pay attention to the things that I'm saying. Your conscious self can drift off, can go into this place where it's not really paying attention to anything but whatever it happens to be paying attention to. Sometimes people are like, oh, well, I can't really get hypnotized because I get so distracted by blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Your conscious self can get as distracted as it needs to be in order for your unconscious self to realize that I am paying attention to you as much as I possibly can in this medium, and that your unconscious is paying attention to me as much as it possibly can, and that your unconscious mind can know that it is a super valuable and important part of you. And if we were here in person, your unconscious mind would know that even more deliberately, because I'm always talking to your unconscious mind. I want your unconscious mind to realize how important it is. I want your unconscious mind to go, oh, I really like being in this state. I really like feeling valued and important, and I really like contributing in a way that gives me more of that. Because that's why we do things, right? We do things to get rewarded. That's why we do a lot of things in life. So our unconscious mind, as part of us, does that too. And the more you value your unconscious mind and what it is capable of doing, which is amazing, it's vast, it's nearly limitless, it's so cool, the more you allow your unconscious mind the power to do the things that it's capable of doing, the better you're going to be, and the better it's going to be, and that's good for everybody. So just hold on. So as your unconscious mind takes you down on that conscious level to somewhere else, maybe your conscious self is on the best vacation you've ever been on right now, but your unconscious mind is paying attention to the things that I'm saying. Let's think about how much you might decide that you don't like doing a thing. Sometimes we don't like doing a thing because we have gotten so used to a habit of doing something else. Our brains like to be efficient, so they like to learn a thing, which is the hardest part usually. It takes the longest amount of time. And then once we've learned it, we sort of record groove it into our brains of how to do it. So it's being played over and over and over again, the same type of thing. However, we don't have to be that way. We can allow our unconscious minds to know that it is okay to make changes, that sometimes it is super beneficial in ways that can benefit you in the long run. So what is going to allow us to take a thing that we don't necessarily want to do, that we don't necessarily find ourselves thinking about, looking forward to, and anticipating with joy and delight? It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe your brain is filled up with a whole bunch of activities that you've been putting off. Let your unconscious mind right now think about how good it would feel if you were to begin to do those tasks and to realize that when you did them, even as you were doing them, that you felt this deep innate sense of satisfaction and happiness from doing them. Allow your unconscious mind to feel what that's like, to know that when you find yourself taking on a task that previously you have been like, oh, I don't really want to do this. Do I have to? You just find yourself putting it off. Your unconscious mind knows that from now on, you just find yourself going, oh, I got to do this thing. And your conscious self may or may not even be aware of what's going on. Isn't that fascinating? Like right now, your conscious self may or may not even be aware of what's going on, and that's totally fine because your conscious self doesn't have to participate. The only part of you that has to participate, or maybe there are multiple parts, but that's okay, is your unconscious mind and your body working together to make sure these things get done. Pick a task, any task, a task that you don't like to find yourself doing. Allow your unconscious mind to think about you doing this in the future, and allow your unconscious mind to go, oh, now is a good time to know that once we decide to do this task, we're going to give ourselves a little rush of whatever happy chemicals you need. Is that dopamine? Maybe that is. Like if you're playing a video game, and if you haven't played a video game, sorry if you don't get this reference, but if you've ever played a video game and you've done something and you got the little sound or you got the cash reward or whatever it happens to be, the new skin, your brain goes, oh, I've got a reward for this. Well, your unconscious mind can go, oh, well, you've done this thing. You've taken out the trash. You've brushed your teeth. Whatever it happens to be, anything that you in the past have not previously been excited and enthused about doing, your unconscious mind now goes, oh, you've done this thing. Let's give you some candy or whatever. Candy's probably a bad idea. We don't all need more sugar, or maybe none of us need more sugar, but whatever. The thing is that your unconscious mind can go, oh, here is your reward. Here is a thing that makes you feel good when you do the thing, and then when you're done, then you can feel all the benefits of that. So let your unconscious mind hold on to how good that feels. As your unconscious mind goes, yeah, it would be much better for us to do these things faster, to get these things out of the way quicker. As your unconscious mind just keeps saying yes to you, realizing that you're going to do these things, you're going to keep doing them repeatedly, that every time you do it, you're going to give yourself a little bit more reward for doing the thing. Your unconscious mind looks forward to doing these things just a little bit more than it did before. Now, what if you're doing this as a service to somebody else and you don't want to hate it? So your brain can give you a little bit more submission. Your brain can give you a little bit more obedience every time you do these things. Just a smidge. You don't need a lot, just enough, because over time these things all add up. And as these things all add up over time, it can feel so much better for your unconscious mind to go, oh, hey, we like doing these things. We feel good when we do these things. These things make us happy, because literally you're giving your brain little drips, little drops of dopamine. And you might discover that you find yourself doing this with each and every task that you absolutely haven't been looking forward to before, to the point where you find yourself beginning to just automatically make them happen, because when you make them happen, it feels good. And the more you find yourself feeling good about these, the more you realize, hey, these things just got done, the happier you can find yourself feeling, the better all of that can be for you. So let your unconscious mind hold on to how good it feels for you to just say yes to these things. Let your unconscious mind just hold on to how good it feels to just start these things, to be in the middle of them, to get them done without consciously having to put so much effort into them, and especially not having to put any effort into thinking about how you didn't want to do the thing in the first place. Because now your unconscious mind has this reward system built in, so you find yourself wanting to do them. So you find yourself happy to do them. You find yourself happier because you have done them. And because you're happier that you have done them, you find yourself feeling like you're in this whole new cycle of how good it feels to get these things done, to take care of them. Everything about that begins to feel so much better. Drop down deeper and deeper right now. Allow your unconscious mind to say yes to making those changes. Allow your unconscious mind to say yes to those changes, and if it works for you, allow your unconscious mind to give you some kind of idea motor response. What's that? That's like a hand curling, or a finger raising up in the air, or your hand raising up. I don't care what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. It matters to you what it is. So allow your unconscious mind to give you that signal that you deep down, and perhaps even consciously, are aware that you have made a change, that you can make changes, that you can make changes easily and effortlessly, and that those changes can feel really good for you. So allow your unconscious mind to just feel incredibly good right now as you take a nice deep breath in. As you let it out, normally you'd sink down deeper into trance, right? -1, -2, -3. We like those negative numbers, don't we? -4, -5. Take another nice deep breath in. Come all the way back up to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Opening up your eyes, 9. Moving and wiggling around, and 10. Wide awake. Feel how good that is, right? Is your blood flowing? I was going to say, are your blood flowing? That would have been very grammatically wrong. Anyway, is your blood flowing? Are your blood cells active? There we go. How about that? So, thank you. Thank you for being here. Nice to see all you folks. I appreciate that you're here. I did hit 3,000 viewers. Now I'm a little over that, or subscribers, excuse me, not viewers. And that was very exciting for me. Since I started doing this, I didn't have quite as many, and now I have more. And it's helpful for all sorts of things. I'm probably never going to get rich off of YouTube, and that's all right, because that might mean I'd have too many people paying attention to me. And I'd much rather just focus on you. So, allow your unconscious mind right now to think about how good it feels to let those suggestions just settle in, right? And think about what you're going to find yourself doing. Where was your conscious self? Was it there? Were you aware of what was going on? How good did you feel? I'm glad you liked the snaps. I'm going to keep doing them as long as my fingers keep making that sound. My left hand doesn't do it the same way. Every once in a while it can. But my right hand's got it going on. Ugh. I need to clear that out, so. Let me know what's going on in your brain. Let me know how you feel about that. Do you want to do something else today? Do you want to do something, hey Dax, do you want to do something chastity related? Do you want to do something sadistic? Sadistic might be hard, but I'm not always great at coming up with stuff on the spur of the moment when even though I'm talking to you, I'm kind of talking to myself. So usually if I bounce something off somebody else, I get better ideas. No. Well, that's helpful. No, I'm just kidding. You're not saying no, you're just clearing your head probably, and I am projecting in a way that I should stop doing. So I have been drinking a lot of water. So normally I fill this all the way up with like crushed ice, and I'll drink it down throughout the course of the whole thing. It's very, very warm in here, as always, as you know, because I complain about that every single time. Bread's kind of similar, right? Kind of similar. So I almost never, ever in my day-to-day wear makeup. I just don't bother. I work in a warehouse. There's no need for me to wear makeup. But when I go on camera, I always wear something, because when I was a wee child, not literally a child, but not far off, I used to work for a TV station, and I have been on camera without any makeup, and let me tell you, you just look a little weird. Or I always looked a little weird. Maybe you don't, but I always looked a little weird, so I always pop in. Clearing your head. Well, look, you're gonna take advantage of that fractionation. You're gonna go back into trance momentarily. Not yet. Yeah, I like that you can tune in, because you're so used to being in a state of trance, and that your brain hears the sound of my voice and is like, oh, well, I hear Lee. So they call it technically the Jennifer Aniston neuron. I think that's what the article, or I talked about it, but basically that there's a neuron in your head that when you think of a specific person or thing, it lights up in your head, right? That neuron sparks and it connects, and so you remember different things about that. So when you hear the sound of my voice, your brain is like, oh, it's time for trance. I mean, highly likely. I'm not saying that your brain does exactly that, but that's sort of the mechanism that your brain has to recall things and to remember things. So shaking your head makes the trance deeper. I love it. That's wonderful. What a great idea. Oh, I can put the fan back up. I just use it to like give me some airflow in here. Again, stuffy. Okay, the vent. So there's no air conditioning in this box, but the ventilation is on. I am just hoping that I have to Oh, hey, I should let you all know, because I don't know if I did last time. I had my electricity fixed for this particular thing. And I don't know what with my setup is so strange, but because I got the electrical outlet fixed, now my computer just magically starts up when I like hit the button on it. Isn't that great? I've tried to put it asleep and then like use the keyboard and the monitor to like wake it up, but no, that doesn't do it. I actually have to go hit the button. But it's fine. Everything works now, and I don't have to spend like 45 minutes doing all the stuff I used to do before. So, but I'm gonna have to unconnect everything for the hurricane and move it maybe like on boxes or something in here so it's extra off the ground. This is already on wheels, probably 6, maybe 8 inches above the ground. So it's going to be even more protected so that I can come back to you hopefully next Sunday without any issues. Yeah, so all right, so chastity sounds good. Let's think about that a little bit because everyone has a little different idea what that means. So some people think, oh, that means I can touch, but I can't actually have an orgasm. For other people, it's I can't touch at all, which honestly is my preferred method because why tempt fate, right? Like I have literally known people who are like, oh, well, I was scratching myself and I had an orgasm. And I'm like, well, if you didn't scratch yourself, you wouldn't have that problem, right? Right? Anyway, so your unconscious mind can know that all of those things, whether you're touching or not touching, touching is just like edging, right? You're just like asking for some kind of trouble. Now, for some people, I'm not saying there are only 2 kinds, by the way. So if you don't fit into either one of these specific categories, let me know which one you fall into. But so I've noticed that there are some people who the more they edge, like the hotter it gets and the hotter they get. And then they get like desperate, like they feel this absolutely longing. Oh my God, I absolutely have to have an orgasm. Or there are people who, if they edge and they don't have an orgasm, it's like the switch just goes off and they're like, eh. So like they get to edge once and that's it. And then they're like, no, I'm fine. They don't feel that need to orgasm. They don't, whatever. They don't need to masturbate anymore. They're all done. So however you find yourself doing it, go ahead and share. If you're willing to. If you're not, that's totally fine. I'm not pushing you. I'm just asking if you have a way. Or if there's some different way that you find yourself doing it, let me know. And then, of course, there are people who are like wanting their... they want to be able to like service their partners, and sometimes that's easier than others. Like some people have no problem with being able to be used as like a sex toy, and they still can't have an orgasm for that. And then there are some people who do not the edging, but it's forgetting what the name is, but it's like basically when you train yourself, and this is usually for male genital folks, but so you get so close to having an orgasm, failed orgasms, and then you let go before you actually have the orgasm, and so you don't like super ejaculate, you just sort of like weep all that out of your body, and then you usually stay hard. I do not have one of those. I have never tried that, but I have friends that have, and they've reported that it allows them to, when they are allowed to, say, have PIV sex, to go for longer and longer and to experience more sensational happiness from doing that without having it be like, oh, I'm at the end of my thing. So, let's talk about denial then, because I think that's a lot of fun. So I think that maybe for right now, okay, let's go back and do some more of this. Now, if you were not here, we're gonna do some hypnosis. If you were here, great, you're primed to go right back into trance. So I'm gonna do a short little induction, which is to say I'm going to count from 5. And you can drop down quickly and easily, right? 4. You know I don't normally count down, so what's your brain doing right now? 3. Ooh. 2. I'm not going to flip you off, don't worry. 1. Ooh, I was wrong. Sorry. Let's let yourself drop down deeply into trance. Let's let your unconscious mind just say yes to going deeply into trance, to feeling how good that feels, and to let yourself give into it. And as you find yourself dropping down deeply into trance, let every breath in bring you up just a little bit. Let every breath out drop you down more deeply into trance. And then the more you find yourself dropping down deeply into trance, the easier it becomes for your unconscious mind to simply give in to you being deeper into trance. Let your unconscious mind think about how good it feels to be told no. Right? Like, I think that that is super powerful, that your brain can know that when you are told no in a really specific way, that your unconscious mind might begin to be like, oh, but I really wanted to do that thing. You're telling me I can't do that thing? No. And as your unconscious mind thinks about all the things you could be told no to, you can discover that hearing that sound, that very deliberate no, and it could be a however your partner wants to do it, however you most hear it, your brain can begin to know that when you hear that no, that your brain just goes, oh, okay, I guess I can't do that thing. But it does a couple other things in response. It makes you really want to do that thing. So it makes you a little desperate to do that thing. In fact, it makes that thing become something that you find yourself really focused on, really eager to do, right? You know what that feels like, don't you? You can feel that already because I've said no to you a whole bunch of times. And whether you were thinking about orgasm or touching yourself or something else that might be, equally fun for you normally. I don't know, putting in a butt plug, having something vibrating against you. I don't know what it happens to be, but your brain has been told no. So you get to do these things maybe, but you don't get the enjoyment of doing them. But the more you don't get the enjoyment from doing them, the more you find yourself tormented by being told no, the more you discover that you like being told no. And the more you hear that no from your partners, the more you find yourself wanting, needing, longing to do that thing, and the hotter it becomes for you, right? You know what that's like. And if you don't know what that's like, let your brain imagine what that could be like. And as your brain imagines what that could be like, no. Feel yourself wanting to give in more and more. Feel that slight edge of desperation building inside you so that you're like, but I really want to. But if you were to ask for it, it would be no for days, right? Weeks, a month. It's October after all. And then there's no nut December, and then there's denial. No nut November, and then denial December. So there's all sorts of reasons that you might just want to keep your mouth shut and not ask about that sort of thing, right? Yeah. So you want to feel yourself taking pleasure in how good it feels to hear that no. How good it feels to hear that not today, probably not tomorrow. Every time I say something like that, not today and probably not tomorrow, I'm reminded of The Princess Bride and Dread Pirate Roberts. Anyway, not today. Let your unconscious mind think about how good it feels to know that someone's paying attention, that someone's watching out for what you do. And for your own good, clearly they're telling you, no, you don't get to do that. Not now. Who knows for how long? Your brain begins to think about how good that feels to be told no. How fun that is to be told no. How much it wants to hear that word no. How much it wants to obey that no. And the more your brain hears that no. Look, I'm not going to discourage you from listening to the audio of this so you just hear that no over and over and over again. But you might find yourself doing that. But your unconscious mind can know that it feels so good, better than it ever did before, to hear that no. And the more your brain knows how good it feels to hear that word, that denial, the more tormented you feel, the hotter it becomes, the more you want to obey, the more, if you have somebody that you respond to in that way, the more you want to make them happy by doing what they told you to do, which is no, which could be no to almost anything. I have no idea what you're being denied. Chocolate cake, orgasms, bedtime after 10. Let your unconscious mind just think about how good it feels to be controlled in that manner. Right? Because there's something super hot about being controlled. There's something fun about the idea that somebody else is going to tell you what to do, tell you how to do it, and that you find yourself really, really longing to be in that position where you're just going to obey, where you're just going to submit, where you're just going to give in, no matter how tormented and tortured you feel on the inside, no matter how much you really, 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 really want to do that thing that they're telling you no to. And the longer that goes on, the hotter it gets for you. So let your unconscious mind just say yes to giving in to the things I'm talking about right now. Let your unconscious mind tell you yes as loudly as it possibly can. So your unconscious mind goes, yes, I absolutely want to be denied. Yes, I absolutely want you to tell me, or my partner to tell me, no. I love the idea that I'm going to be tortured and tormented and denied. Isn't that fun? I love the idea that perhaps I just can't have an orgasm no matter how much I try, or I can't touch myself no matter how much I try, or I can't do this other thing no matter how much I try. I'm going to stay up till midnight. Well, your bedtime is 9:59 and it's 9:58 and you notice, oh my gosh, my body's just started to go brush my teeth already. You probably should have started sooner. Remember, brush for 2 minutes. Your unconscious mind just knows that it feels so good for you to surrender in that way, for you to surrender your capabilities, for you to surrender and submit to somebody else, for you to embrace the torment and the torture that's going on, to, for example, to let your partner do the things that are fun for both of you, even if your brain is like, oh, what do you mean you're going to tease me mercilessly? And then tell me no, you're going to deny me? Yes, we're going to deny you. And your word for the day is no. So let your brain hold on to how good it is to hear each and every one of those little bits of denial. For your brain to notice how good chastity, in whichever form, whether it's sexual or bedtime or cake, feels. It doesn't matter how you're being denied, does it? It doesn't really matter. The important thing is that you find yourself knowing, first of all, that you like it a lot, that you really want to be denied, that it feels so good for your brain to have somebody tell you no. And the more you find yourself in the state of accepting that no is, of course, the right answer, the more your unconscious mind just says, oh, we're having fun with it. What a great idea. Because your unconscious mind has this opportunity to make sure that your conscious self does what it is being told to do. But your unconscious is getting its messages directly from me or from your partner, and we're telling you, you don't get to. No, not today, and probably not tomorrow. And we're not sorry about it, so suck it up. So let your brain hold on to how good it feels to be denied. Let your brain hold on to how incredibly right it is for you to be denied. And everything about that, you secretly, not so secretly, absolutely overtly love. You find yourself in that state where you love to be more obedient. You love to be more tormented. It feels so good for you to be told no. It feels so good for you to know that you can't have what you want. Poor baby. It's really too bad. You should just learn to embrace the idea that no is your answer for if you ask for almost anything. For yourself? Absolutely not. None of that. So hold on to how good all of that feels. Hold on to how fascinating it is for you to go, wait, but I really want to do this thing. And then to discover that you are unable to because you've been told, no, don't do it. And your unconscious mind likes to obey because the more your unconscious mind obeys, the better it feels. The better it feels unconsciously, the more pleasure you're going to feel from being told no. And the more pleasure you get from being told no, the more you just want to feel that again. We've talked about this before and before and before because pleasure is like a gateway drug to your unconscious mind opening the fuck up and doing almost anything it could possibly do. Almost anything. It's so amazing. So let your unconscious mind think about how good it feels to obey and how good it feels to be told no. And how good it feels for you to know that even if you are being granted and denied pleasure simultaneously, it still feels so good that you almost can't get enough of it and you just want more of that denial, that sweet, sweet denial, right? No. So let your brain hold on to all of that. Let your unconscious mind just like feel that chemical response going through your body. Hold on to how very, very hot it is and how nice it makes you feel to obey, to give in, to know that you're going to be told no or or not today or whatever it is. And you're going to look for those moments and it's going to make you feel so good even in your denial, even though you know you just can't go against it because you have to obey. Sucks to be you, poor baby. Too bad. Just keep giving in. Drop down deeper and deeper into trance right now while your unconscious mind holds on to how good that whole combination of contradictory statements is. They're only so contradictory. I mean, you can receive pleasure from being told no. And you're gonna, aren't you? You are. And you're gonna find yourself more obedient. And you're gonna find yourself more submissive and happy to do the things that help you get denied to do the things that you want to do, even though you're getting other things that you want to do going on in your head. So let your brain hold on to all of those things. And as your brain holds on to all of those things, you can find yourself feeling way more obedient, way more submissive, way more happy to be denied than you were before. If you listen to this again, you'll notice that it keeps happening. You hear that no, and your brain goes, oh, that feels really good. I'm going to do that again. But no, you're not going to do it again because you've been told no. So you can listen, but you can't do the thing until you actually are given permission. So that's a whole nother story. It's a whole other story to be given permission to do a thing, isn't it? Anyway, one more time, no. And then on the count of 10, find yourself coming up all the way wide awake, feeling so much more obedient and submissive, feeling great, happy to be denied, to be tormented and tortured in this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All the way back up. Come up and say hi. Enjoy how good it feels for you to say hi. I could tell you that I give you permission to do that, but honestly, just do it, because then I know who's awake, and that's helpful. Yeah. Sure, I think the best way is to condition yourself for synapse. There's something called snappy response. That's not something, it's an audio I made. It's pretty old, but it's a live recording of a session that I was doing with somebody who was trying to be a brat. And hi, Sean. And they were trying to resist. And every time I snapped, they were at their desk. And like, if you hear me laughing in that, which you could, it's because they face planted on their desk when I was just snapping. And I think I was also saying something else, like a particular trigger phrase. Anyway, it was great fun. So much fun to watch that. And I think it's fun to listen to. So, oh, well, thank you very much, Gib. I appreciate that. There's another hypnosis session before that one. So there were 2 today. It was a little bonus, right? 2 today. Usually you just get 1 after all the chit-chat. But we started out slow, and that's okay. Honestly, Roman, it's the one in, it's the chastity that I make. Yes, it's literally that one. There may be others that actually work well for people. I'm not saying that there aren't other ones, but personally, I made an audio of that because it's very effective. I've done that to people, and, they've been in chastity for a very long time, and they were unable to get it off themselves, to undo it. Not that that is the same way for everybody, but it is a very effective chastity suggestion. And I do recommend that people get used to the sound of my voice first. They get used to responding to my triggers first, because the more familiar you are and the more responsive you are, the better it's going to be. So that's why, like I say, you should listen to Lazy Summer Day, which has triggers. It has 3 triggers. 1 that brings you back into trance, 1 that makes you feel like you got a hug, and a 3rd that stops you in place. Then you listen to Would You Like a Sip, which is stop in place. That's what the SIP stands for. And then as that works for you, then you can go on to the chastity. If it doesn't work for you, well, then I may not be the right person for you. Or you may have to listen a few more times. I mean, it depends on what your brain is really adept at doing. So, yeah. Yep. The dark side one. That's the only one I have for chastity, really. And now this. So isn't this kind of fun? This is more how to torment yourself, how to let yourself get tormented. Remember to ask your partners if you can have all the teasing you would like. You could ask them if they would tell you no. They might be willing to oblige you. Or they might just go, no. I have no idea. So, I do not know what this week is going to bring. So I am anticipating being here on Sunday, but with the weather situation being what it is here, it's up in the air. So we'll just see what happens. If you are interested in chastity stuff, you can join the Patreon. There's some free Locktober stuff and free, I think, Evil Month of Evil stuff that is also available. But take your pick. Do whichever one you would like. If you want to become a patron, cool. You can also join the Discord. If you join the Discord, especially for Locktober stuff, I'm going to ask that you participate, because that's how it works best. That's how I know what's going on. So hold on to that. Think about how good all that feels. And if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to close out and say have a great week. I'm going to go and unplug a lot of stuff and put it up higher than it is. And hopefully that'll be enough to keep things as safe as they possibly can be. I don't know if I have to evacuate. I will know closer to, say, Tuesday. I might know closer to Monday. I really hope I don't have to. It would suck. And there's already been a really terrible amount of water that's gone through here in the last little bit. So people are already being devastated. Yeah, thank you, folks. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, all right. Well, have a great day. Thank you for being here. If you're not subscribed, please do. Why not? Come back again. I'm usually here on Sundays. I am hoping to add some other content in as soon as I can get around to making that happen. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So thank you very much. And I will be back as soon as I can. Hopefully next Sunday. If not, I'll be here the Sunday after that. So thank you.